Man, this is fun. I wonder what Lewis is playing. Hey, Lewis, what you playing?
What?
Lewis, what are you playing?
What?
You know what?
Get over here!
You guys ready? Lobby up.
Hey guys, lobby up.
GG's, lobby up.
Dude, we gotta lobby up.
Lobby up.
Hey, should we lobby up?
Yo, lobby up.
Lobby up, y'all.
Hey, let's grab a beer. Lobby up.
Welcome everyone to another episode. What You Playing is a more laid-back series where Lewis and I are going to discuss games that we're currently playing. And before we get into our two big ones, Hogwarts Legacy and Mortal Kombat 1, we want to talk to you about some of our side games. So Lewis, what you playing, man? What's going on right now? What are you
He
playing?
said the
right
thing, guys. He said the thing. He said, "What you playing?" The title of our episode. Oh my god. So, man, of course, I'm playing Mortal Kombat right now, and of course, I'm also playing Starfield because in the near future we would like to finish off our thoughts on Starfield.
Yes.
But I got some sleeper hits right now that I'm playing that I'm freaking just falling in love with. I've been playing F-Zero
Ooh.
99.
Oh man. Is it crazy like having 99 racers on there, or like what's it like?
Listen, as an F-Zero fan, I'm still hurting that we have not had a mainline F-Zero game in like, God, I think like 15 years. You know what? That's not
Too
even
long.
right.
Is it the GameCube was the last one, or when?
Well, if you count the Game Boy games, I mean, probably not as long, but F-Zero GX came out on the GameCube. So however old that is the last time we've had an honest to goodness mainline F-Zero game.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'll take this. The F-Zero 99 has been insane. Like, there's obviously implied in the name, there's 99 cars on one Super Nintendo map, and I pulled out my Super Nintendo Switch controller.
Oh, nice.
I feel like I'm playing like an action replay version of this freaking game. It's so fun, man.
So I feel like that Super Nintendo controller is probably the perfect feel for it.
It's perfect. I mean, it's literally just Super Nintendo version of F-Zero with an action replay in there, or a Game Shark, whatever you use, and just like going nuts. It's fun. I definitely recommend it. And it's a good time sink of a game. Like, I got 20-30 minutes, let me just play a couple rounds. Definitely recommend it. But what about you, man? What are you playing right now?
Well, right now my side pieces have been Ori and the Blind Forest. I always have to pause and make sure I'm saying the right one because Will of the Wisps just wants, like my brain wants to say that, even though I haven't even played a single second of that game yet. And a little bit of Age of Empires on the side because I've just been, like, remember, I'm like cracked out kid in a candy store. I'm just running through a Game Pass right now. And I didn't even realize, we talked about this a little bit before, but I did not even realize that both of those games are Microsoft Studio games, so they're just never going to leave Game Pass, and I feel less pressure to try to play them like a crap ton of hours when I have all these big games that I'm playing. So that's really nice, but I do really enjoy playing them when I can.
Dude, Ori is so good. I have not beaten the game, but I did play a good amount of time into it, or I put a good amount of time into it. It's a really good Metroidvania, and as a fan of that genre, like you are in good hands with Ori and the Blind Forest.
Yeah.
This isn't your first Metroidvania, is it?
So you were actually the first person to introduce me to that genre, like specifically that topic. I can't remember another one off the top of my head. I've played a lot of side scrollers. This is probably one of my more Metroidvania in the sense of like an open world 2.5D side scroller game, but it's been really, really fun. I have been loving all the challenges. You see this cute little creature and you're expecting like this lighthearted thing. And the game starts off lighthearted, right? And then it just gets dark real quick. And you're like, what the heck? I have to save this. And then you think you have to save Ori, but Ori just gets more and more powerful like every hour that you're playing this game. It's so fun. And honestly, man, and I've told you, this is my first time getting into PC gaming. It has been challenging. Like the platforming in this game has been some of like the more challenging platforming I've done. And every time that you're getting like this better power up, like, oh yeah, I can do this now. I can wall jump. I can run up this wall and I can double jump now. And like you think that that's going to make you like this OP person, but then the game's like, oh, okay, now you can do that. Well, do this, and it's like, I have to wall jump while dodging things and shooting them and blow up this obstacle while also jumping twice and have to land perfectly on this one little area. It's so much at once.
That game humbles you, man. It humbles
does.
you so fast. And it's, again, from its namesake, Metroidvania, bro. All the Metroid games do the same thing to you. The Castlevania games do the same thing to you. And what I'm really hoping with Ori and the Blind Forest is that it'll get you into this genre of gaming that you haven't really explored before.
Yeah.
Because some of the best games out there, the first one, other than Super Metroid, which is chef kiss, but the Castlevania games, Symphony of the Night, it was on the PlayStation, grade A, amazing. So I'm really hoping that with this, it opens up a whole new world for you, bro.
Oh yeah, absolutely, a whole new world. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Hey, this isn't a Disney episode. This is a Warner Brothers episode. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get into your main game, which has been Hogwarts Legacy.
Yes.
How
Man.
how much time have you put into it so far?
So I'm probably like right around like 13 hours right now. And it feels, on one hand, it feels like I'm not very far. But then I look at my PlayStation's like overall thumbnail for the game, and it's saying that I'm like over halfway through the main story. I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh, wow. So you're what? 65%? What does it tell you? Does it even tell you?
It will tell me a percentage. Last time I checked, I want to say it was like 50 something.
Oh, nice. So you really halfway through that.
It feels like I'm probably about, I guess, halfway through the main story, but it feels like I actually have not like touched hardly anything on the side, and I have done a lot of side stuff.
Oh, really? You messing with them side pieces, those side quests? I see you. I see you. This is your first Harry Potter game, or did you ever play those GameCube ones?
I think I played one. I want to say it was on the original PlayStation. It's a Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, and it's just like old as dirt. Just honestly though, it was a really fun, entertaining game. It's a short game, but it was fun. I remember, I have good memories of that game.
Yeah, well, so this isn't your first Harry Potter game, but as your first real juicy AAA Harry Potter game, how are those opening hours? Did they really suck you in?
Dude, the opening of Hogwarts Legacy, if you don't plan on playing this game and you're still any sort of a Harry Potter series fan, I highly recommend going on YouTube and looking it up, because it's easily one of the most captivating and exciting cutscenes I've ever. It's up there, especially for games this year, probably like top 3, if not the top. But it's one of the best I've seen probably ever, especially because I'm invested in Harry Potter.
So if you could compare it to another game, like what would you compare it to?
Man, I don't really know. I'm like kind of like running through like some of my favorite games right now, and to be honest, dude, I really, none of them come to mind. Nothing really comes to mind that's like this captivating. Because I mean, my wife was just watching me play a little bit, and when she watched this cutscene with me, she was then like, okay, you officially cannot play this game unless I'm watching you.
Whoa.
It made her want to watch me play that bad.
Wow. Just sunk their claws right into you, man.
Let me say, I want to tell you so bad. I don't want to give too much away.
Can we put a spoiler warning on this? Can I like put a giant spoiler warning sound, and then you can tell us? What do you think about that?
All right, cue the spoiler warning. And to be fair, this game came out like 8 months ago, so we're well outside the window. But so in Harry Potter, there's one of the, I think it's the 5th movie when Luna Lovegood gets introduced. Harry and her are about to ride into Hogwarts on these carriages, and nobody can see these dead horse-looking creatures, right? Like Ron, Hermione are like looking at Harry. Harry's like freaking out. He's like, "What are these?" You know? And Ron and Hermione are like, "There's nothing there." And Luna's like, "I can see them too." And then she later explains to Harry that the only people that can see them are people who have seen death. Okay.
Okay.
In Hogwarts Legacy, your main character is riding with this guy who's kind of like being your tutor, your role model for things, and he's like teaching you about like this ancient magic that you're learning, and you're riding into Hogwarts with him. You're a 5th year transfer student, okay? And you're riding in with him after like discovering all this stuff, and he's talking to somebody. I think this guy's in the ministry, and there's like some shady stuff going down.
Yeah.
And this huge dragon comes up and rips the carriage that you're riding on apart and eats that guy that you're riding in with. And your character can't see what you're flying in on. And as soon as the dragon eats it, you see the horses in front of the carriage.
No way.
I have chills just talking about it. It's wild. And like,
And
you're
this
just
is
like,
the opening. This is
the opening. This is part of the opening. Like you've done some new stuff. You're learning some gameplay. You've seen some like more slow things so you can get the hang of the basics. And then you're watching this cutscene, and that happens, and it just blew me away.
Dude, that is. I want to play this game. I haven't even. It hasn't even been on my list of games to play. But literally, what you just told me, that sounds amazing. That is a good
intense.
way to just get you into the game right off the bat.
Absolutely.
Holy crap, man! That's
Absolutely.
Whoa. So when do you get to Hogwarts, and when do you get put into your house? Because that is. How do you follow that up?
So you do eventually sneak into Hogwarts, and you have to lay low, and so pretty short after that you get to decide your house. And I promise, so my sister-in-law was the one who gave me this game for my birthday, and I promised her that even though I have been traditionally placed in Gryffindor, I've taken the test like a half dozen times,
Same.
always Gryffindor. I promised her, I was like, look, whatever the game puts me in, I'm gonna play it. And I got placed in Slytherin.
No way! Literally the polar opposite of Gryffindor. Holy crap!
Yeah.
How does it place you into a house?
So really, and it wants to not be like the full depth of those online tests.
The Pottermore test.
Yeah. And so it's trying to just, get a little feel for each character, but get you right into the gameplay. But basically, it just asks you 2 questions. And it's basically like, what are you most excited to do? And it's like adventure, or like go to class to learn a bunch of spells, or like collect beasts or whatever. And then it's like, describe your strongest attribute in 1 word. And there's like 4 choices. And so the 2 choices that I picked, I got Slytherin. And so Sierra and I are sitting on the couch, and she's like, "Oh, you got Slytherin." And I was like, "Yeah, but I promised your sister that I would play the one that I got chosen as." So
Slytherin is seen as the bad house, but granted, it doesn't help that a lot of the villains have come out of the Slytherin house.
Basically all of them, if not most.
Listen, I'm not a Harry Potter connoisseur. I've seen all the movies, and I read a lot of the books as a kid. There's some people that's their whole life, and no judgment to them, because video games are our life, so Harry Potter's yours. But Slytherin, to me, I feel like it's a misunderstood house. Slytherin is the house filled with the cunning, smart, factual, and analytical people. Again, I could be wrong here, but that's based off what I know of Harry Potter.
So one of the game basically all but explained to me why I got put into Slytherin, and it's mostly off of that attribute, I think. So it was because I picked ambition. And so ambition is the trait of Slytherin. And so what happens with a lot of these evil witches and wizards is that they want to learn, they want to go out there and experience and get more and more. And the problem with that is, unless you keep yourself disciplined, you can easily get to the dark side.
Dude, there's nothing wrong with the dark side, bro. The dark side rules.
We have cookies.
So you get placed into this house. You're in Slytherin. Do you get that Harry Potter Hogwarts experience? Like, do you get that school sim?
Hell yeah. Like, you go right up to your your common room, and you get your own little dorm area, and you go out to the common room and you get to see everything that's in like the Slytherin common room area. You see all your friends, and you start talking to people and learning things, and basically there's so much I want to tell you. Basically, you start seeing people that have relation to the main series. So there's this
Nice.
young guy who's blind, and his name is Ominous. And not ominous like spelled like the word, like it's not that far on the nose, but it's like Ominis, I think, but still it's
Fair.
pronounced ominous. But his last name is Gaunt. And if you're not
Okay.
like a Harry Potter aficionado, that can go right over your head, and you're like, oh, it's some Slytherin blind kid.
Yeah.
Gaunt is the name of a family member to Tom Riddle, aka Voldemort.
No way. See, I didn't
Yeah.
know that. That's
Yeah.
whoa.
So this game, it throughout, if you just blaze through the main story, you can easily skip out on so many connections to the main like actual lore, but there's a lot of nods. There's a
That's
lot
amazing.
of stuff buried in there. Yeah.
So, what would you say is your favorite callback to the movie in the game?
Honestly, dude, I think that all these connections with the characters that are in Hogwarts Legacy, because it's set like 100 years or so, I can't remember the exact amount of time, before the actual series that we watch on the movies.
Yeah.
I think all of these characters that you get, their little background connections, that's probably my favorite part, because it's like we're getting things that we should have gotten a long time ago. Like there should have been a
Yeah.
TV series of all these little cool characters and how they connected to the movies. That easily should have been something that exists, and you kind of get that in this game, and so it's really fun.
So going back to like Ominous, what you were saying about his connection with the Riddles and
Yes.
Voldemort. So
Right.
would you say that's your favorite callback?
I
so
would
far?
say probably one of them. You get some other villains. Like again, I don't want to just describe everything for everyone here that's
Yeah,
listening,
of course.
if they want to play the game or watch the cutscenes themselves. But basically, there are some other villains that you get some of their ancestor stories. It's I would definitely say Ominous was probably one of the like really cool ones, because being in the Slytherin house, I have a couple interactions with him, and you get to see like how angry this young
Yeah.
man is, and how powerful he is too, being someone who's blind and still being able to perform magic, learn just like everybody else, if not better. It's so cool.
That's awesome, man. So we've talked about the story, how you get into the Hogwarts house, all that good stuff. But now I really want to know the main thing, and I'm sure everyone's thinking it too. How is the magic, dude? How does the magic work? What's your favorite spell? And I know that goes right into that gameplay.
Yeah, man. So there are so many aspects of the series that you get. Basically, if you've ever played any open world games, you know that a lot of the time there's some form of like scanning option, being able to see in your surroundings and try to check for hidden objects and stuff. I know Horizon Zero Dawn has it. I think that Red Dead Redemption has a form of that, like it's like the Dead Eye or something like that. In this game, you actually just use a spell called Revelio.
Okay.
And your Revelio will show you a bunch of treasure chests in the area or that kind of stuff. And in the beginning, you're not able to get some of these treasure chests because they have eyes, and if they see you coming up, they lock themselves.
Oh, that's cool.
But then you learn a spell to make yourself invisible, and then you just sneak up on it and you steal its loot. So there's so many creative ways that they've incorporated spells that are not even getting into the combat. And easily my favorite spell by far is Expelliarmus, and it's not only because it's like one of the main ones from the movies,
Yeah.
but just the way that they are true. Each spell really gets its own character. It gets its own attributes that you get to be like, oh, that's so cool. Like Expelliarmus in the main line series, it disarms your opponent. So if you have like a ginormous statue with this big battle axe coming up at you, use Expelliarmus and it flies out of his hand, And later on in your skill tree, if you build it up, you can take that battle axe out of the air and fling it back at him.
Yo, that's sick.
It's so sick. The first time Sierra was watching me do that, she was like, "Oh, that was so cool."
That's awesome.
The combat is really, really, really engaging, and I find myself wanting more and more challenge. Like I'm like, I could see myself starting this game back over on like the highest difficulty just to play the combat because it's so fun.
Has anybody gone up to you and gone, "Scared, Matthew"?
You wish.
So it sounds like you really love this game. It really sounds like you're enjoying it.
Yeah.
It's just about everything you've wanted from a Harry Potter game, I would say. Yes or no?
I would say just about. I do have some criticisms. While I do love the game, while I do love everything that this game has brought, there are some things that I have some thoughts on. I'm like, I wish this was just different or better. So one thing that has been super distracting is the character model animations when you're in dialogue. And this has been a difficult thing for games historically for a long time.
Yeah.
I'll never forget being a kid and playing Kingdom Hearts and watching like some of the most beautiful animation and cutscenes, especially for the time, and then just getting to a cutscene and Donald being like, and just being like stupid nonsense, and also their facial features just not matching what they're saying, like looking deadpan at you and being like, "You broke my heart," like that kind of stuff. In this game on the PS5 or Series X, it doesn't matter. It's looking like late PS3,
Really?
late at latest, like early PS4 types of character model animations. It's been super distracting because like right now I'm talking to one of my friends in the Slytherin house and he's teaching me stuff about like this blast spell, and his general demeanor is pretty like just, you know, looking off into space and like not really caring about things. But when he sees me, he's like, "Oh, it's Matt." Like, "Oh," and I'm talking to him, smiling. And then as soon as he's done talking, it looks like he like frowns and rolls his eyes. And I'm like, this it's so off-putting and weird, and it doesn't match what's going on. Like he's like, "Oh yeah, like see you soon," and then he like rolls his eyes at me, and I'm like, do you actually like me? Are you actually my friend? So it's weird. Like that type of stuff has been distracting.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and another thing, dude, this whole game seems to just be struggling to find its pacing, because that whole thing that I described in the beginning of the game where you have this crazy opener, you have this really exciting scene, it's followed up with you sneaking into Hogwarts, you get into your house, and that's all fine and good. You see some really cool Harry Potter Hogwarts lore.
Yeah.
The whole character I talked to you about earlier that's related to Tom Riddle, that's really neat. And those are not going to be like action-packed scenes. I'm not expecting that. But the problem that I have is that from there, you're just met with a million tutorials. You have to have a tutorial, it seems, for every single spell that you learn, for every time that you're going to make a difference between the Levioso and learning, okay, you can move this around and stuff. Then you got to learn about Accio, and now you can retrieve stuff, but you have to have a whole break in time just to learn what you're doing and how to interact with these objects. So I think that really interrupts the pace, because if it was like a couple or even like a half dozen, that's one thing, but it's every single spell.
Every spell?
Yes. And so I think it really interrupts the flow of the game, because like I told you earlier, I'm allegedly over halfway through the game and I'm still getting tutorials now.
And how many spells would you think there are? Like, or do you think there are?
So I'm pretty sure there's like almost 20 or around that.
Jeez.
So that's quite a lot. And the other problem too, dude, is on the topic of learning spells, famously the keyhole, like unlocking spells Alohomora, and you don't learn that until like halfway like where I'm at right now. I just learned it, and I'm apparently again I'm like halfway through the main story. So it's basically the lock picking mechanism for this game.
Whoa, and how many doors do you think you've missed since,
oh my god,
since you didn't know this lockpicking spell?
it is driving me bananas because there's probably like dozens just in Hogwarts. There's probably at least like 20 in Hogsmeade, and you're walking past all of them, and you can't even interact. And then what makes it worse is there's like a level 1 lockpick, a level 2 lockpick, a level 3.
Man.
So then you finally freaking learn this, and then you're like, I gotta go back and unlock it, and it's like, nah, you haven't learned level 2 yet. So it's like, oh god. So that's been really, really challenging for me. I think that it hurt the pace of this game.
So is it that you didn't find the lock picking spell first, or like the game just gives it to you at this point of the game?
It gives it to you at this point in the game. You have to progress through this main storyline, and it's a main storyline quest that you learn it. And my wife, so she's like super into animals, and she's been anticipating like the whole like beasts part of this game. It also doesn't come about until halfway through the game, or halfway through the main story.
Whoa, man, that's
and
pretty bad.
It's cool that you're going to class and you're like learning stuff, and that's like a cool part of it. Like that's nice and all. I don't have a problem with that, but if they make a sequel to this game, they really need to figure out how they're going to incorporate these things better, or something as characteristic to an open world game as lock picking.
Yeah,
I kind of feel like should come about a lot earlier at least.
man, that's really tough, man. I couldn't imagine playing Starfield and learning the digipick mechanic 50% into the game, or even Fallout or Skyrim. Like those are the games that I think of automatically when it comes to lock picking.
Right. Yeah. So it's been pretty tough. And one more thing to add in, one huge letdown, I think. There's no Quidditch in this game.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
That was a really big pill to swallow, because you fly on a broom and it's fun. Like you mostly do it for travel and for some mini games where you're trying to like run into stuff and trying to like go as fast as you can. That's all great and expected.
No Quidditch?
But no Quidditch. And I guess it's probably like a whole extra game that they would have to add in.
I was gonna say $5 says that they're gonna just release a honest to goodness like Quidditch game like FIFA, and it's gonna be yearly.
Right. Yeah. And honestly, I'd buy the crap out of it, because it's really fun to fly on a broomstick in this game. It's so fun. But yeah, like not being able to be not even the seeker, but just even like someone trying to score with the quaffle or be a beater and save your friends from the blood, like, you know, the bludgers. It's just it sucked to or not even be able to like watch it happen in the game. That was a letdown.
Is there even any callbacks to it at all?
Yes. So there's a lot of stuff where you go onto the Quidditch pitch and you are flying around. That's like especially part of like the game, and you can like go there and stuff. But yeah, there's no playing Quidditch.
Well, that's a little bit of a letdown, but
yeah,
hopefully the rest of the game just outweighs that glaring omission. So you're 50% in, you're really into the game. If you had to give it a score, and it doesn't have to be you don't have to pull out our scoring chart or anything like that, but what would you give this game out of a 10?
I think that there's a lot about the series that I love, and I'm so happy to see in a video game.
Yeah.
But trying to be fair, trying to be objective here, I really do think that it would be hard to give this game higher than like a 7.5 out of 10, just because of the technical aspects of the game being held back. There's so much to love, and there's so many things in this game that I really do appreciate. Something that I think that all open world games should have, especially like the RPGs that allow you to have armor that give you better characteristics. Really funny story for you. I found these newt glasses, like newt eye glasses, and they look weird. And Sierra, when she was watching me play, she was like, "Oh, those are ugly." And I was like, it doesn't matter what I look like as long as it increases my stats. And I equip them and I go out to a full pan of my character and I look like a fucking weirdo. I am wearing a brown gardener's witch hat. I'm wearing like purple robes. I'm wearing like this like bright lime green colored outfit, and I'm wearing like these like polka dot gloves. And then you see me with like this like weird like shifting eyeball, like newt eyeball on the
That
right
is
side.
awesome.
And I'm like, okay, it matters a little what I look like. And so, but what I was saying in the beginning, what I think that every game should have is this thing that I haven't seen it in any other game, Lewis. You can change the appearance of what you look like while keeping any values of the armor and offense upgrades of any piece of armor you have. So say that those Newt glasses are the best that I have, and they increase my defense by 10, but I also have some plain black rimmed glasses that don't do anything for my stats. I can have the visual like aesthetic of the black glasses, but have the Newt glasses equipped.
That is really cool.
Yeah, so you can have all of your best armor equipped and not look like a total freak, and have yourself look however you have any piece of armor you found, any piece of equipment, you can have that be your actual appearance. I think that's really cool.
Amazing. That is amazing.
So the game has a lot to love with things like that, but and it advances video games in general, and I commend it for that. But there are elements that I think hold it back.
In the current climate of games, 7 out of 10 is 110% respectable. You know, everybody wants a 9 out of 10 and a 10 out of 10 and an 8 out of 10. I think anything above a 7 out of 10 is a game that's worth playing. Would you agree?
Oh, absolutely. And the thing is, you know, I'm pretty critical of Starfield just as a comparison, and I really only think that game's like an 8 out of 10 because it has so many aspects that are pushing gaming forward and should be commended for. The physics in that game, and again, it's made in the same year as Hogwarts Legacy, and the facial expression technology that's in Starfield is amazing.
That's awesome, man. So you know what? Shout out to Avalanche Games. Those are the developers that made Harry Potter. Did you know? Did you know that Avalanche Game has made a Mortal Kombat game before?
I didn't know that.
Yes, dude. So back in the Nintendo 64 and the PS1 era of Mortal Kombat, they were still kind of getting into their rhythm of what a Mortal Kombat game could be. So at the time, it was Midway. And this was before they turned into NetherRealm Studios. Midway was the one that was making the Mortal Kombat games. They went out to make a 2D or 2.5D Mortal Kombat platformer. I think the name of the game was called Mortal Kombat Mythology Sub-Zero. And and it sucked. So with that being said, it's time for Mortal Kombat!
All right, man. So how long have you been playing this series?
Dude, I've been playing Mortal Kombat way too long. I mean, I was definitely never supposed to play this game at the age I started playing. I was like 5 years old when I first started playing Mortal Kombat, bro.
Oh my God. Watching all the fatalities and being like telling your brothers to come here because you wanted to try something.
Well, the thing with Mortal Kombat is they're part of the reason why the ESRB even exists.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so it was so new when I was a kid, and my parents didn't know like shit about any of that ESRB crap. So it's just like, here's a karate game. Here you go. Leave me alone. And like I insert the game into my Super Nintendo, and for those who know, it's Mortal Kombat 2. I had 1 and 2. Mortal Kombat 1 was censored for the Super Nintendo, but Mortal Kombat 2 was not.
Oh my God.
So I played Mortal Kombat 1 at 5, and then I got Mortal Kombat 2, and I inserted it, and I remember playing it. It was dark. I was alone in my room, and I'll never forget, bro. I was playing as Liu Kang, and like I lost to the computer player, and it was Reptile, and then like, so the screen goes black. It's like do-do-do-do, and freaking Reptile takes off his mask. It's a giant lizard, and he eats my head, and and I'm 5 years old.
Screaming.
You know that scene from Home Alone where he puts the aftershave on his face and he's just like, ah! That was literally me, dude. I was
Oh my
so
god.
freaking freaked out. So yeah, I've been playing for a long time, dude.
Okay. So you know that there's obviously like a dozen entries in this, but here we go. Mortal Kombat's pulling an Xbox and they named their newest entry, which is like a dozen in Mortal Kombat 1. And I guess the developers they comment on that to explain. They're like, you're going to see the characters reintroduced into their roles with new relationships with each other. So is it really new? Like what's different about this iteration?
So I will say that Mortal Kombat 1 2023, like it earns its namesake. It does. I was a little skeptical about like what they were pulling here, especially since this is a reboot of a reboot. Back in 2011, Mortal Kombat 9 was a reboot of the franchise. There was some time traveling shenanigans, messages through time, all this stuff. And Mortal Kombat 1 multiplied that times two. It's like they go balls to the walls with the time traveling and resetting the whole Mortal Kombat universe from scratch, bro.
Wow. Okay. So, like, what's different with these characters? I mean, it's still the same people. You got like Sub-Zero and that kind of stuff. So, I mean, like, what is different about them?
Dude, everything. So these characters, we like as a community, as Mortal Kombat fandom, have grown to love these characters since, gosh, I don't even remember when the first one came out. They all have a certain archetype. There's certain personalities that come with these characters. Some are good, like by default, some are evil. This is a whole remix for these characters. For example, Sub-Zero, Scorpion. Before this game, they are bitter rivals. They are from different clans. Sub-Zero is from the Lin Kuei. Scorpion is from the Shirai Ryu. And they just butt heads the whole series prior to this reboot. In this new reboot, thanks to some shenanigans in the last game, Liu Kang, the main character, arguably the main character of the whole series, and this shouldn't be a spoiler to anybody, so no spoiler alert here, but Liu Kang is the one who resets the universe thanks to getting this all-powerful time powers that he got in the last game from beating the main boss. I'm not going to get into Mortal Kombat 11 too much, but when he reset the universe, he tried to set everyone up to have a nice, peaceful life. Spoilers, it did not work. Everyone's life still just comes down to killing each other in Mortal Kombat. But he made Scorpion and Sub-Zero actual blood brothers. They're brothers in this game.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
So Sub-Zero is Bi-Han and Scorpion is Kuai Liang, which in the old continuity, Kuai Liang was Sub-Zero and Bi-Han was also Sub-Zero. I'm not going to get into all that craziness. This is a huge 30-year-old story that's been told, but in the old continuity, Hanzo was Scorpion. In this continuity, Hanzo no longer exists. So they are blood brothers from the same clan.
So they've like completely changed these main characters' backgrounds.
Yeah, and dude, some characters went from like stupid little lackeys, like I'm just serving the bad guy because I want to. Like Baraka, for instance. Baraka's the dude with the giant swords for arms. He used to just follow whoever the main bad guy was. It's like Shao Kahn's the bad guy. I'm gonna go follow him. Oh, Shang Tsung is the bad guy. I'm Baraka. I have sharp teeth and I'm gonna follow Shang Tsung. This time Baraka plays a huge role in this timeline. Baraka is not a Tarkatan race. Tarkatans are these huge sword wielding, sharp teeth bad guys. In this timeline, instead of Tarkatans being a certain race, they're afflicted by a disease called Tarkat. So Baraka is no longer just that race. He was a rich merchant that got infected by this disease, and in the realm that he lives in, he was just cast aside with everyone else with this disease, and they kind of just formed a community, and he's the leader of this community, and he's this smart, fair character. Like he's no longer some bumbling minion.
He's got some more brain power to work with here and some more like diplomatic skills.
Exactly. And he's just my favorite glow up for this story.
So instead of him being like, I'm just gonna follow the bad guy, he's like, nah, I am the bad guy.
Which is even better that he's not the bad guy this time, which is awesome. I
oh
love
really
that.
So is he more like neutral then, or what would you
No,
say?
he just wants justice for the people who were cast aside for a disease. I mean, imagine like in the real world, it's like, you know, you got this crazy disease, we're gonna throw you in a camp and like we're gonna treat you like third rate citizens. And he's like, I ain't about that. I'm gonna lead my sick brothers out of this hole, and we're gonna make our stand. He's just such a good glow up bro. And I mean, I can go into all these different characters. We have like characters like Tanya, who was a bad guy for the whole series. Now she's a good guy working with the Outworld Queen. Man, like they did such a good job of remixing these characters. Like I couldn't possibly talk about them individually. Like it's too many.
Yeah, so they really did revamp like all of their backgrounds and stories. So that I'm sure that like when you're playing through the game, it gives you a lot more meaning to what you're doing there. But let's talk about the combat. Like, is that any different, or is it for the most part like the same like tried and true formula of Mortal
So with
Kombat?
Mortal Kombat's Mortal Kombat. You got two fighters going at it to the end, to the bitter end, killing each other off. Like, so for better or for worse, however you feel about it, I think I'm perfectly happy with it. The blood and the gore and the fighting is still there. I think the best addition to this game is the cameo system.
Wait, what's the cameo system?
So the cameo system was a really good way to add familiar faces without taking up a character slot. So basically it's your tag team partner for the match.
Okay.
You don't play as them, but they support you in different aspects in the fight. So like I usually run Serena. She's a character from the Nether Realm who follows this evil sorcerer Quan Chi, and she's a really good cameo character. I use her to zone my opponents out. She does flame damage. She can get you out of a bind with her uppercut kicks, and it leads you into combos. So these cameo characters really spice up the combat.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice. I mean, so that's never been in the games
No,
before.
no, not at least not that I know of. There's so many games, but I've never seen that before. And your cameo characters can actually perform their own fatalities as well.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
sick. So, is there new combos in this game? I know it's a big part of how you fight.
Oh, absolutely, man. They're the combos. God, the combos are honestly sometimes a little too good because I'll be playing online and I swear, like you'll get the sweatiest freaking dude. My current score on like my MK record is 32 wins, 25 losses, and before you go online, you'll see what your opponent's record is. So my little 32
Okay.
wins, this guy will have like 500 wins and 50 losses.
Oh my
And I'm
gosh.
just like, oh no, please. And since, you know, mama didn't raise no bitch, you know, I'm going to click accept right then and there.
That's right.
Come at me, bitch. So I'll click it, bro. And I swear to God, I won't move for the whole round. He'll just combo me to no end. And to the point where,
Just
bro,
zero
I
to
just
death.
put my controller down and just watch the magic happen on the screen. Like, maybe one day I'll be that good.
Oh man. Okay. So yeah, OP combos. Are there new finishers? I mean, obviously you have like your partner doing like their finish, but are they like making it really juicy and like really brutal? I mean, like is there a new animation to an old one, or is it just like full
Bro, so
revamp?
full revamp on the fatalities. And granted, Mortal Kombat's really good about bringing some old ones back, some fan favorites with some new visual flares. Because let me tell you before I continue, Mortal Kombat, because we shat on Mortal Kombat 1 for the Switch on the last episode. It looks horrible on the Switch. Thankfully, I'm playing it on the Xbox Series X, and let me tell you, it is beautiful. It is like it is the
Nice.
definitive way, other than, you know, PlayStation 5 as well, and I'm sure it looks good on PC, but on a hardcore gaming machine, like it looks beautiful. With that being said,
Nice.
with the beauty comes the graphicness of these fatalities, man. There's some of the most gruesome ones I've seen.
Ooh, tell me more.
So this character, Lee May, she's actually my main character right now. I used to be a Johnny Cage guy, but I've been playing as Lee May, and she has this sick freaking fatality where I don't know how graphic I can get, so we'll find out right now. But she basically
Yeah.
she like pulls out your freaking like guts, and she'll uppercut your head right off your body, and your head's flowing into the sky, and then she lights your guts on fire like a firework, and like it looks like a fuse going to your head in the air, and then your head explodes into a firework.
Oh my god, that is like some of the most outlandish, horrific shit I've
Oh, bro,
ever heard.
there's worse ones than that. That's probably I know that one off the top of my head because she's my main. But Katana,
Right.
she's this female ninja with bladed fans. She has two of them, and she can control them with a form of telekinesis. And one of her fatalities is she gets her fans spinning super fast on top of you, and then the other fan spinning super fast below you, and like you just get turned into just a pile of mush.
Okay, is this a game or is this a Saw movie?
Hey, it probably is a Saw movie because there's rumors that Jigsaw from Saw might be a DLC character.
No way. So, okay, so there's already leaks about like who could be included as a DLC.
We'll see. Ed Boon, the creator of Mortal Kombat, is a fan of bringing characters from horror movies, sci-fi movies. Like Mortal Kombat X
Mhm.
had Alien from the Alien series. It had
Oh, that's
Predator. It's had Terminator.
Nice.
It had Rambo. So he's a huge fan of bringing in, like, it had Jason too. I can keep going and going, like all these horror movie icons. So like people are saying that Jigsaw might be in it. Chucky is in
Oh
the
my
running
gosh.
for it. So yeah, to answer your question, it is kind of like a
Okay,
Saw
well,
movie.
so out of those ones that you've seen like potential DLCs, which one are you most looking forward to?
The ones that aren't confirmed, because again, those are leaks, so I don't even know. I take everything I read with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
I would love to see Chucky in freak. I was about to say Chucky in Smash Bros. I mean, I feel like Mortal Kombat is like Smash Bros for boomers. Like, it's like, yeah, put in Rambo, put in the Terminator. It's like that's something like my dad would want in a video game. But for this particular game, I think Chucky would be awesome. A short little character. Like, I would love to see Sub-Zero just kick him in the face, like we've all wanted to.
Wouldn't that be almost like an unfair advantage? Like your hitbox is so much smaller than your opponent.
Well, keep it in line with fighting games. I don't know if you remember the game series Soul Calibur.
I do.
Yoda and Darth Vader were characters for Soul Calibur. God, I'm not even gonna pretend I remember which one it was. I think it was 4. And Yoda's hitbox was so little, dude. You could just like run around the whole stage and not get hit because you're so small.
Yeah, that
So-
sounds like a huge advantage.
So if Chucky can do that, I'm gonna main Chucky.
Okay, so that's like leaks, but what confirmed ones are available that you are like super pumped about?
So the confirmed DLC right now, we have Omni-Man.
Oh my god. Oh, that sounds so cool. I like anyone else you could say from here, like I feel like they're gonna pale in comparison to me.
I don't know about that, man, because then we have Homelander
Oh,
from The Boys,
Oh.
Peacemaker, and then we have 3 returning Mortal Kombat characters. We have Ermac, Quan Chi, and Takeda.
Okay.
Out of all of those, bro, I'm Team Omni-Man.
Yes.
And I can't wait to see the Omni-Man v Homelander fights.
Yes. That is a match that we all need because if anyone has watched The Boys, Homelander really needs his ass kicked.
Oh my god, for real. Who you got? You think Omni-Man could beat Homelander?
Absolutely. I cuz all Homelander is to me is a baby cheap knockoff evil version of Superman, and I really think that Omni-Man, I don't really know, and this will be like, we could probably make a whole episode about this, but
Yeah.
I don't even really know who could kill Omni-Man. Honestly.
Oh, I mean, Superman, easily.
You
Superman.
think so?
Oh, absolutely. Well, again, we will get derailed here so quickly because I definitely think that Superman can beat Omni-Man's ass. But
All
I guess
right.
that is a topic for another day. People can just sound off in the comments for that one. Who you
Yeah.
got?
Time
Omni-Man,
will tell
Homelander.
also about
or
Omni-Man's
Superman.
matchups. Yeah. So okay, so you talked about your record on online play. Like let's get into that, man. Like what's it been like for you playing online? I mean, compared to other versions of Mortal Kombat, like have you been enjoying it? Like what's it like?
Dude, the online gameplay for this game is buttery smooth, man. Buttery. Like it is so clean. And it's an achievement, to be honest with you. I've played a good amount of I think what 57 I played 57 matches. I'm bad at math. 32 plus 25.
That would be 57. Yeah.
Yeah, I got it right.
You
Hey.
can math sometimes.
So that's 57 matches. In all 57 matches I've done, I have not lagged with anybody once. I do played wired with wired Ethernet cord, but I've played people whose Wi-Fi signal is in the red or the orange, which will like tell you that you have a bad unstable connection. But then I go in there, dude, and it's silky smooth. There's barely any input delay. There is a tiny little bit, but there's to expect with any sort of one-on-one fighting game online, but nothing noticeable, man. Nothing at all.
Nice.
And that's what I played the whole story mode first and then got online. So like I went from single player combat to multiplayer like back to back, and it was a smooth transition, no lag. So it's really great, man.
Nice. And other than facing the sweaty guys, have you been having like any really exciting moments or any badass wins?
So my first match was our good friend Murph was with us, and I was playing we were playing Mortal Kombat together for a while, and I looked at him and I'm like, dude, I have not played online yet. And he's like, no way. I'm like, yeah, like I have not played online a single time. And he's like, do it, bro, do it. And I'm like, all right, like I gotta show off in front of my boys, like I gotta show them what's up. So we get online for the first time, and I'm 0-0, no wins, no losses. Bro, the first guy that matchmaking pairs me with is 178 wins and 16 losses.
Oh my gosh. What kind of matchmaking is that?
Bro, it's casual. I am not playing ranked, people. I'm not getting in there. Screw ranked. I'm playing
Even
casual.
still.
So they matched me up with that, and I look at Murph, and I'm just like, oh god, like I'm in trouble. So like I go in there, and naturally, right off the bat, I get my ass beat. Like there's no tomorrow. Like he beat me like I owed him money, and I was just sitting there like, oh my god, I'm embarrassed. Like like the shame that's being brought on me and my family and my house because I'm getting my ass beat in front of like one of our best friends. So I'm like, gamer mode on. So like I lean forward, gamer stance, and I'm like, all right, it's time to beat this dude's ass. I think the common law for fighting games, and you play Smash Bros, so you know, 2 out of 3. If you're a respectable fighter, like in a fighting game, you do 2 out of 3. You run it back.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
thankfully, my first match was against a very honorable person. God knows his name. I didn't look at his gamer tag. And he beat my ass the first matchup. So we're going on the second matchup. It's 2 rounds per matchup. And bro, I don't know how I did it. I don't know what the parameters are, but there's this thing called brutalities. And you're supposed to do a certain amount of things in your match. And then if you end the match with an uppercut after reaching all of these parameters, you perform a brutality. I still don't know what the parameters are for this, but I'm going hard. I'm beating this dude. I think he went from like he was a little lax because he beat my ass so bad. He's like, this guy's garbage.
Yeah.
So like I catch him off guard, and like on the last round of that match, I do an uppercut, and his head just flies off his body, and then like everything goes black, and it says brutality, and like my mouth drops, and I look over to Murph, and his mouth is dropped too. Like, what the hell just happened? And I'm like, I have no idea. I don't know how I did that. So
you're 1-1 now.
We're 1-1, and then he runs it back. I run it back. Respect, 2 out of 3.
Yeah,
bro. Close match. He wins a round. I win a round. We're on the final round, and I do another brutality on him and knock his head off again.
Oh my gosh.
Dude, I had no idea how I still don't know how to do that. But randomly when I'm playing online, I just uppercut and it's like brutality, and I'm like, I will take that. I will take it. So that was the story of my first matchup, and I haven't done anything as good since.
Dude, man, What a way to start off, man. That's awesome. That's such a good story. Would you say that's like probably the craziest thing that you've seen since you started playing?
Yeah, other than just seeing, like, having to put my controller down and just watching me be obliterated into dust. Like,
Just taking it as a learning moment, man. Well, that's
there's
sick,
nothing
dude.
to learn there.
Well, man, so what do you think your final thoughts are on this game? I mean, you've played it for a good amount. Sounds like you've had a lot of fun with it. Like, what's your overall feel for it?
All right, buckle up, people, because I have a lot to say in terms of my final thoughts for this game. Um, First and foremost, like I said earlier, this is the most beautiful Mortal Kombat game I've ever played. Visually, it's stunning. This is the first honest to goodness next gen Mortal Kombat, and it shows. Like, it shows in the visuals, it shows in the gameplay, in the online play. They really created something beautiful in this game. It's a work of art. With that being said, the game, I feel like it's missing some quirks. I kind of miss the days of Mortal Kombat X where everything was dark and gritty and gloomy and edgy. Like, I kind of miss that. This game, like the menu right off the bat, you click the menu and it's white and everything is vibrant, and you see like a beautiful statue of two dragons, and it looks beautiful, and it looks like you're about to play this really cool martial arts game. It doesn't feel like you're about to play a Mortal Kombat game. I think of Mortal Kombat X in particular, how gritty it was. The menu, like when you're clicking your characters, it's raining on them. It's dark. I feel like this game is missing that. Sometimes I forget that I'm playing a Mortal Kombat game because of that.
Damn, you can't go losing your identity.
Another thing that this game is missing sorely is there's this mode called the Crypt, and in the crypt you go through these graveyards, you go through these tombstones, and in these tombstones, like, you get these unlockable items. But while you're down there, there's jump scares. There's you see like skeletons of past fighters and bodies, and it's really dark and it's borderline scary.
Okay, yeah, that sounds like a perfect game mode for Mortal Kombat.
There's nothing like that in this game.
Oh,
The way you unlock content is you collect coins during your normal gameplay, and then you, every time you get 1,000 coins, you put it in front of this dragon, the dragon melts it, and then you get an item.
wow. That's pretty anticlimactic.
Where's the crypt? Where's the scary? Where's the gritty?
Right.
Where's the, like, where is that?
Yeah.
I need that to remind me that I'm playing a Mortal Kombat game. Another thing that the game is lacking for me is content. The story mode, man, fantastic. It is probably one of the better story modes of any fighting game. It really does feel, and they've perfected this since Mortal Kombat 9, where it really feels like you're just watching a Mortal Kombat movie that you can just interject and fight in the middle of this movie and then continue the movie. And it's not a bad thing. It's a fighting game first and foremost. So the fact that they put together this whole cinematic story mode is amazing. And I loved every minute of it. And all these characters got to shine. But then after I beat the story mode, all that I was left with was this mode called Invasion Mode, which I've just now dabbled in it. And let me tell you, man, I'm a little bored with the Invasion Mode.
Really?
I feel that it's not nearly as good as previous iterations of, like, their side content, like Conquest and the moving towers and the time towers. It's kind of just there, and I have no interest to play it. I'd rather play online. You go to online and you have casual mode, ranked mode, and King of the Hill. That's it.
Damn, that's surprisingly limited.
So, like, I'm missing that. I'm missing that extra content that I'm used to. Bro, back in the day, they had a Mario Kart inspired mini game on the side where you can click on your character, and they have big old chibi heads, and you're racing. They used to have
cool. That's silly and fun.
they used to have puzzle combat where, like, it's like a game of Tetris, and the more that you win in Tetris, you start to fight your little chibi Mortal Kombat characters at the bottom are fighting and performing, like, fatalities on each other. Haven't seen that in a long time.
So it sounds like with this one, what I'm hearing from you is a lot of the characteristics of the game. While it's clear they're trying to renew and refresh the series, it feels like maybe in their attempt to hone a lot of things that they're focusing on, like the character's background and while all that was good, and especially the game, right? Like you need to make sure that the actual fighting is fun. They got that, sounds like they got that pretty darn good. But then some of the heart of the game, like these little details that you're missing, and the title menu, like all these sorts of elements of the game are just not quite capturing what you should still expect even with a refresh of the series.
You honestly got it right on the money. Sometimes, like I said, I feel like I'm not playing a Mortal Kombat game until I start actually playing Mortal Kombat and I start to
Right.
do the fatalities. Um, the stages are so beautiful. They're so beautiful, but sometimes I'm like they're a little too beautiful. Like they're granted, there are some really gruesome stages. There's a stage called Shang Tsung's Flesh Pit, and it is gruesome. It is disgusting. You see like Shang Tsung is like a sorcerer in this universe, and he like experiments on people.
Oh my
So like,
god.
yeah, so you see these awful, gruesome experiments that he's concocted, and it's like, and you're fighting in his like laboratory, and it's gruesome, and it's Mortal Kombat.
Right. But you're not getting all those elements here, like to where it gives you that cohesive feeling of playing Mortal Kombat.
And for Mortal Kombat, listen, there's been stages in the past, and there's been settings that are beautiful, but I feel that in this case we're having more of that beauty and less of that gritty. And if I'm playing Mortal Kombat, and what differentiates Mortal Kombat from Tekken and Street Fighter and all these other fighting games, is that grit, that dark undertone that's just sorely missing for me in this game.
So, with all the good that you've described in this portion and all of the things that you feel like are missing here, what kind of general, if you could assign a number to it out of 10, like what would you give this?
So comparing it to its predecessors like Mortal Kombat 9, 10, 11, each iteration gets better and better and better with the combat. And I would say even 12, or in this case 1, to me it's the best in terms of the actual combat, the actual gameplay. I love this one the most.
Which is arguably the most important part.
Yes, like you want a good fighting game. Hell, you want a fantastic fighting game. Pick up Mortal Kombat 1 today. You're not gonna be sorry for playing this game. But again, that atmosphere. I want fighting, fatalities, atmosphere. Like I need my atmosphere, and because of that, I have to knock at some points. I gotta knock at some points because of the lack of content. And my number one, and I haven't even gotten to my number one absolute worst complaint about this game. There is not a single new character in this game.
None?
Not a single one.
Wow, that's surprising.
Not a single one. They're all returning characters, which isn't a bad thing. When you're a Mortal Kombat fan, you always expect to have your Mortal Kombat characters.
For sure.
Cool, fine. But Mortal Kombat 11 and Mortal Kombat 10, and Mortal Kombat 9, all the ones that I compared it to, always brought some sort of fleshed out new character to the franchise. Yes, you had the returning ones, but they always play different. But in this case, they're all the same. Nobody's different. And that was to me a pretty big discrepancy.
Yeah, and like if you're reinventing the series, it's kind of weird that you're not bringing any new characters, you know?
Yeah. Talking about returning things, another thing that's missing, and the only thing that I can hope for, and this is terrible because I also don't like this, I hope that this feature that I'm about to discuss comes back in DLC. Friendships and babalities and like all these wacky finishers that you can do. So like in Mortal Kombat, there's this thing called friendship, and it's a jab at all the people that say this game is too violent. And basically like it looks like you're about to perform a fatality, and like you get this giant spear, and like you're about to it looks like you're about to kill him with the spear with a giant rope, and then you attach the rope to the side and you start jump roping with the character. Or like it looks like you're about to kill him, and then you bring out an arcade machine and you start playing the arcade machine with them, and it's supposed to be like a little nod at like, look at us, friendship, it's not all fatalities.
That's the type of depth that you would expect from a game that has heart. They want to do more than just finish the main gameplay and just pump it out for the public to buy. You know, they wanted to add something fun for the person who's playing it.
Yeah,
right?
and that's gone. Babalities, you turn them into literal babies, and they just start crying on the floor, and it's supposed to be like one of the biggest insults you can do to another player. That's not there. And I know in the past they've added it as DLC, but that should have been in the main game. And
Right.
without that in there, I feel like the game is taking itself just a little too serious for my taste.
I
Um,
see.
Again, there's no kart racers, there's no puzzle fighters, there's no crypt. It is a pure fighting game as of now, and the charm of not taking itself so serious, it's sorely missing. My very last thing that knocks it another point and makes it not my favorite Mortal Kombat game is the predatory microtransactions and skins. It's like Fortnite in there, dude. You need to
Oh
get
my gosh.
premium currency that you buy on the Microsoft store. And if you want a skin, you have to get it within the day or within the week because it rotates. And if you miss the skin that you really wanted, it's gone and who knows when it'll come back.
Oof. That's just not a good fit for a game like this.
I miss the days where you can just unlock some character skins. And listen, if you want to buy some like premium skins, cool. Nothing against that, but I feel that this rotating skins on the marketplace, it's too predatory.
Yeah.
For someone that's younger, it's like, well, I want that skin and I want it now. I need to. The FOMO starts to kick in, and it's like, I gotta buy this right now, and they start dropping money. It's very predatory. So, with all that being said, ultimately, it's a fantastic game, Matt. You're one that's really never gotten into the series before. I feel like this is the perfect starting point to get into the series. You don't need to know too much. They allude to things in the past, but you can start here, and it's a fantastic game. So honestly, if I had to give it a score, man, I would probably say 7 out of 10. Pretty solid.
Yeah.
And what carries it is the gameplay and the visuals. That carries it to a 7 out of 10 right there. What's stopping it from an 8 is just all this missing content, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, it seems like sometimes these games, they get so caught up in everything that they want to do that sometimes they get in their own way, and they try to add in all the things that new gaming generations want. Some people love having these shops where they can buy all this extra stuff for their character, but I think a lot of those, like were describing, this generation may not even know that there was a time where that was not even something that was in existence. You could just earn those things by playing the game.
Yes.
And to me, that adds so much more value to the game. It adds a lot more integrity that I can respect the developer for. So I totally get why you would hold that against them, honestly.
Again, I don't want to leave on a negative note with this game because honestly, it is a fantastic game. And a 7 out of 10, like we've said before,
Respectable.
very respectable. In as of now, and this is with Street Fighter out there, and I have had a chance to play some Street Fighter, I would say that this is probably one of the better fighting games of the year. It is it's neck and neck with Street Fighter, but Mortal Kombat has my heart in terms of like franchise loyalty. I would not be surprised that in the end of the year, this is voted the best fighting game of the year. And I may be being more harsh than most critics because some critics are coming in here like with a sole objective of just reviewing it in the most objective way possible. I do have trouble with that because this is a franchise that I followed since I was 5 years old.
For sure. Absolutely. And that's understandable. But no, respectable score for what sounds like a great game. You're making me want to check it out. Hopefully all of you guys at home do as well. With that, obviously, we love talking to all of you about what we're playing, but we would really love to hear what all of you are playing at home too. There's such a wide array of video game genres and subgenres. So if one of them is special to you, we totally understand that. Lewis has games that are completely special to him, and he's shared them with me. And it just gives you a whole new perspective on not just the game, but the person that you're friends with. So we'd love to hear about each of the games that each of you holds near and dear to your heart. So with that, thank you, all of you, for lobbying up with us.
See you guys.